First, I'd like to introduce PGSS teacher, Shannon Shinkle.
It's because I love my union. Imposing a contract on teachers is a blatant attempt to destroy our union. A union that is in place to protect teachers' seniority and experience. And I can tell you from personal experience, my union has helped me several times, and this is why I'm taking it so personally. Back in 2001, when the first round of school closures occurred, I lost my position at a local high school. But because of the protection in our contract, I was not fired, but placed on a surplus list. As a result, the 2 years following the catastrophic school closures, I attained 2 limited duration contracts and kept working. I was protected by my union. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I was told by the school board that I couldn't sign a continuing contract because I was going on maternity leave.
Shame.
My union came to my defense, deemed the board's interference as unfair, and I signed my contract. 1 year later, due to a decrease in enrollment, I was surplused, unsurplused, and then bumped, all in the same week. Fortunately, thanks to our contract's policy about filling positions, my seniority and my experience got me a great job at another school where I spent 5 amazing years. That school, unfortunately, met its doom in 2010, which was closed due to budget cuts. However, as horrible as the school closure process was, my seniority and my experience placed me in a job. My union had my back and made sure I received a job.
Yeah.
The new contract the BC government wants to impose on teachers strips them of their rights in terms of seniority and experience. Under this new contract, a principal has the power and can deem a teacher unsuitable for a job for any number of reasons. That isn't fair. Bill 22 eliminates class size distinctions teachers have desperately fought for in our classrooms. For parents, that means that your daughter going into kindergarten could be in a class of 30 kids. That means parents, your son going into English 10 could be in a class of 40. And to add insult to injury, the Honorable Hughes declared that imposing a limit of special needs students in the classroom is discriminatory. So now, those same classrooms are not only overloaded, but they have maybe 10 students on IEPs rather than the current limit of 3, making our job all that much more difficult. We love all these kids. We want to do our best for all these kids, but we're only human, and we have to be able to do a good job. I have almost 14 years of teaching experience. I think I'm a pretty good teacher, and I work hard to meet the needs and challenges of all my learners. What this government is trying to impose on teachers directly affects parents and their children. I don't like how the media is painting us as whiny teachers only in it for the money. I would gladly take a pay increase off the table if it meant better learning conditions for students, more support for students with needs, more resources for teachers, and class size and composition language that makes the classroom an appropriate place for learning, and not have the government wipe it all away with the mere stroke of a pen. Unfortunately, the only words this government wants to use is net zero and cuts. This government is taking advantage of BC children and my union, and teachers are not going to stand for it.
I'm Judy Addy, and I'm proud to be a teacher. I'm sharing the letter that I wrote to the trustees the other night because everything in what I do has to do with teaching. And I'm going to keep teaching until it's no longer the last thing I think about at night and the first thing I think about in the morning. I'm proud to be a teacher. I wrote to the trustees that I hope you have the courage to take a stand against Bill 22. I have been teaching at D.P. Todd Secondary for 34 years. My focus and my passion is for students with special needs, in particular the gray area students in pre-employment and alternate ed. These are the students who are struggling in regular classes because they cannot succeed in integrated classes due to severe learning disabilities, attention deficit disorder, or mental health issues such as PTSD, depression, and anxiety. Some students have chronic health issues which affect their attendance and which severely impacts their success in regular classes. Many of these students are not on the 1701 count, and even those who are rarely benefit from an educational assistance support. When they do receive support, they're often piggybacked with other students whose needs are very, very different. Some students struggle with the stigma of support and would rather fail than let it be known that they have a disability. If there are no class sizes, and if there is no cap on the number of students with special needs, these students, our students, will be severely affected. Some of the comments that I've heard over the last few years from students and from parents are, "I would never have graduated without your help. You never gave up on my child, even when I had given up on him. You knew when to push and when to give me space. If I hadn't been an alternate ed, I would have quit school last year." And from a parent, "You helped me understand that even though my child was making poor choices, I was not a bad parent." Most recently, I said to a young man in my class, "One day you're going to come back here and you're going to say, 'Mrs. Addy, thank you very much.'" And he looked me straight in the eye and he said, "No, I'm saying that right now." These are the reasons why I'm proud to be a teacher. These are the reasons why our trustees and our MLAs must help these at-risk youth receive the support they need, not only to succeed in school, but to succeed in life.
My name is Daryl Mann. Tina asked for an angry teacher, but I'm beyond angry now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud to call myself a teacher. It's taken me a long time to realize that I love my job, and I'm good at it. I believe strongly in the public education system, even though our province is trying to dismantle it. My own 3 children went through the Prince George public education system, and each has become an adult, still eager to learn, contribute, and question. I have taught many things in many schools. I've worked with many of you here tonight. I can say without question that we are surrounded by teaching excellence. And yet the government believes, sorry, I'm losing my place here. And yet the government believes teachers and their union, the evil BCTF, stand in the way of their enlightened view of where education needs to go. The BC Education Improvement Act and Bill 22 are the true evil. If it's followed to the letter of the law, public education in BC will never be the same. Excellence and education will be 2 words that should never be used in the same sentence again. Support on the stick-it lines and during today's demonstrative walk up 15th have been very positive, judging by the proportion of horn honks. In 3 days, I've heard about five middle fingers raised. A teacher saw a raised finger and remarked, "Oh, you have an opinion. Thank a teacher." Only a teacher could say that. And I'm finishing by saying I have to believe in Susan Lambert and the BCTF because the alternative is absolutely unthinkable. I believe we're taking the high road, and in doing so making the government look desperate and afraid. I have to stay strong. We have to stay united. We have to speak with one voice. I believe in the BCTF. I am the BCTF.